Okay, so we're doing an Aeroseal at a house, and one of the things you gotta do is you gotta make sure you're ventilating the house while the Aeroseal process is going on. You don't wanna have people inside during the Aeroseal process, okay? So let's do a walkthrough and we'll kinda show you some things that we blocked up, but we haven't started running the seal yet, so we got time to go in and take a look around. Okay, so with this system, the return is right next to the unit. So we actually don't need to do any type of air sealing on the return side. So the guys, the ninjas, made sure that everything inside of there was masticed real well and all that, because they could reach everything. So what we're more concerned about is the areas of the house that cannot be reached. And we'll take a look and show you some of that. So one of the things that makes Aeroseal so cool is that the ductwork, the trunk line of this house is in here, okay? So if this is leaking, how are you gonna get access to that and seal it from the outside? So this is a great example of what makes the Aeroseal a better situation and a better service in order to seal ductwork. As you can see, we've also got an air scrubber running over there to make sure that the house, in case any of that sealant comes out, which by the way, the sealant is actually made of the same materials that they use to make bubble gum. So it's not that it's toxic or anything, it's just you don't want to be breathing anything in that's airborne and small particles. So just to be on the safe side, we get all pets and humans out of the house during the sealing process. So some of the other things you can see is we use this blue tape here to seal up the ductwork, and then we pressurize the system. We do a pre-seal on the system to see where the CFM leakage is. Then we run the Aeroseal process and then do a post-seal to see how well we were able to seal the system from the inside. After this is all done, this will come off. Now this room, the garage is right here. The attic is above us, so you're going to access the garage or the attic from the garage. The only thing is, this room tends to be a little warm because of the heat that is able to come from the garage through. So if you really wanted to make this room even cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter, it'd be a good idea. The only way really to do it is either to install a pour-in-place spray foam between these two walls, or to take the drywall off on one side of the wall and then air seal and put insulation and then put the drywall back. That's really the only way to address a wall that is shared by both a garage and a living space. So what they've decided to do is inject the sealant in the furthest register of the system. So that way it actually starts at the furthest and works its way back to the unit itself. Now we block off the unit in order to keep that sealant from getting into the HVAC system. So this is the lay flat that we use. This is pressurized in order to test the system. It's all computer ran, so that way the computer tells us our starting and our stopping points. Main trunk line that I showed you downstairs running through the center of the house, the branches are running from that main trunk line underneath the flooring between the first floor and the second floor, and then their registers are in the floor. So this situation, the upstairs registers are in the floor, the downstairs registers are in the ceiling. So no matter how the register configuration is with Aeroseal, we can always get the ducts sealed. Now you could see a 50% reduction all the way up to a 90% reduction. It just depends on the makeup and how difficult it is and how big the holes are. I mean, there are some holes that are in ductwork that are too large for the Aeroseal. So if there's a huge hole in that chase, that wall cavity that we can't get to, the Aeroseal is not going to fix that. The only way to fix that is with a big piece of mastic or something like that. So you won't always see huge results. Sometimes you may see a 50% to 75% reduction, but the point is, no matter what the reduction is, it's going to save you money in the future. So we're back. We've got our results from the Aeroseal duct sealing that we were doing. We wanted to share it with you. So anyway, what we did was we ran a pre-test and we showed that the air loss before we ran the Aeroseal duct sealing was at 278 CFM of air. Now just to give you an example of that, if you have a 2-ton unit, you're losing over a half a ton of air when you're losing 278 CFM of air. And let me show you what that looks like. This is what that looks like. This is 55 square inches of air loss that all those little holes inside the ductwork before we air sealed was losing. So basically they had a hole this big when you add all those little holes up. So we took it from this to this. Now we're at an air loss of 5.5 square inches versus 55 square inches, okay? So that's huge. That's 89.5% reduction. We took it from 278 CFM of air loss down to just 29 CFM of air loss. So if you're looking for a great investment, not only to save money, but also to potentially improve the health of your home, because now it's pulling in less dust, it's distributing less dust, and all that sort of thing. And you know, dust and allergens and all that stuff coming from the crawl space, the basement, the attics. Aeroseal duct sealing is a great investment for you and your family. My name is Michael Church with Crawl Space Ninja, Basement Ninja. We hope you make it a happy and blessed day, and we'll see you later.